Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thanksgiving. This was a last minute thing because I don't know if I can go live tomorrow. Can I go live tomorrow? Probably not. How you guys doing? How are you guys doing? I'm not sure many people will be online today because they're at Thanksgiving, but I wanted to talk to you tonight. I wanted to say hello to everyone. One sec. Sorry, guys. I had to stand up for a bit. Guess what I have in front of me? Megan's as ever sage honey, strawberry spread. At the rate I'm going to finish it. And I don't like this for me. And of course, the apricot. If you are living in the UK and would like to join the giveaway, I plan on giving away a lot of the orange marmalade and maybe a jar of the raspberry. So if anybody wants to, I'll put a poll up if you're interested. We can talk about. We can talk about how I can send it to you. Don't worry, it's not opened, and you can tell it's not opened because the seal will be on the jar. But I'm going to create a Discord. I would like us to live watch Megan's show together, and we can talk about it. But I'll put it here anyway. How's everybody doing? Happy Thanksgiving, Americans. I hope you're doing well today. Mm. Mm. I told you guys the strawberry spread is delicious. There's a lady on TikTok who went viral. Who well, she didn't necessarily go viral, but she was talking about how she went to her local farmers market, and she got I think the same. She got honey with a honeycomb. I think it was orange blossom honey with a sage honeycomb. And she was basically talking about the differential in price. That with sage it's expensive. Obviously, basically what she was saying was Megan's honey is more expensive compared to the quantity of honey you were getting, compared to the one she bought in the farmer's market. But she made it very clear to everyone that of course I'm going to still buy Megan's honey. That she's a fan of Megan and she loves Megan's energy and she feels Megan's energy is going to bring good luck to her. And I thought, oh, that's pretty. That's a very nice thing to say about somebody you don't know. And I think for a lot of people who support Megan Sussex, that's probably a lot of it too. I think many of us, myself included, I see her in a very maybe unhealthy, not unhealthy, God, not unhealthy. I'm not crazy. Maybe in a, but I would say unhealthy because I believe any form of parasocialism is unhealthy. But I see her as somebody that I just want to win. I want, I want her and Megan the Stallion. These are two women in pop culture. I want to see them win in everything they do. Everything they do. I take it personally. I want this for them. And that's why I support them in every way. And I'm sure many people who are Sussex fans, you feel the exact same way. Hi, Faisal. The way I feel bad for Sudan. Yeah, shout out to Sudan. So yeah, like I said, this was a last minute live. I don't know if anybody will be here. I know the majority of the Americans will be having Thanksgiving. This one is good. I know the majority of the Americans are having Thanksgiving. You're with your family. I think around this time is when Thanksgiving lunch has started. So I will be genuinely surprised if anybody joins. But it's 8 a.m. PM in the UK. So this is the best time for me to have this live. Mm. I've never had honeycomb before. I don't like it. Mm. Oh no, it's like right in my teeth. Ew. I can see why Megan melted it down for candles. Kind of gross. Well, yeah. Mm. How's everybody doing? Oh my god. Oh no. It's like chewing a candy, like an eclair. That's gross. Well, those of you online with me right now, I would like to believe, yeah, yeah, I would like to believe that you are not having Thanksgiving and listening to me. I hope not. But if you are, thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. So yeah, what are we talking about today? Yeah, it's gross, isn't it? Well, thanks, Faisal. So yeah, let's talk about some of our key topics. I'll go on a bit of a chin wag if that's okay with you guys. So what's been happening this week? Um, Generally, this week was supposed to be when we got Megan the Stallion's case verdict, and I was very excited. I'm very annoyed now because I thought it was going to come out at the very latest yesterday. Sibi, hello. I thought it was going to come out yesterday, but unfortunately, it hasn't, and it's not going to come out till Monday. But I want to say this, ladies and gentlemen. Having If the Megan Thee Stallion thing has taught me something, is hi Tracy from Connecticut. How are you? If the Megan Thee Stallion case has taught me something, is we really need to be careful what we say online, and we need to remember not to lose our humanity. Whether you are a big content creator, a micro content creator, or a micro content creator who's going to become a big content creator tomorrow, I don't understand why human beings think that just because you're sitting in front of a phone camera or a professional camera, you can say what you like, right? Yes, you don't know these people. Yes, there is this disconnect. It's kind of like being on X or Twitter. On X on Twitter, because you are hiding behind, nobody can see your face. So you can say the most outlandish, high Reggie, the most ridiculous things and get away with it to an extent. But on YouTube, on other platforms where you put your face and your voice, I think people have a certain responsibility. I always say, if you cannot say it to somebody's face, it's probably best not to say it at all. Because if we look at the Megan Thee Stallion case, is and for those of you that are here for the Sussexes that may have missed my previous videos, the reason why I believe there is what I call a destiny overlap between Megan Thee Stallion and Megan Sussex is these two women have not done anything, honest to God, to deserve the amount of vitriol and hatred they get online. They haven't said anything to whatever it is that you think they have done. There are people that have committed actual crimes against people who do not get a fifth, hell, 0.1% of the hatred these two women get. It is, and I believe their destiny overlap is because they are both women of color, they are both black women, they are both American. Their worlds will never even overlap, but they are both similar in the way that a lot of people have so dehumanized them. They think it's okay to say the things they say about them. And I think it's wrong. Not that I think it is wrong. Megan Thee Stallion, I'm not going to recap the whole story, but hopefully you guys know about Megan Thee Stallion and her getting shot by Tory and her having been insulted every day in the media because she dared to point out who caused her harm. It's baffling to me that people are more sympathetic to the man who shot her than the woman who got shot. Like I said, I wasn't really following the case when it was going on because to me, this was not something to debate. This was, yeah, we know he shot her. But I think what shocked me and what continues to shock me is how easy it is for the online community to flip the switch on someone just like that. Just because the right person is pushing the right agenda. And I think the fact that people chose to believe the assailant instead of the victim is very synonymous with the British press and generally and you know what guys, tabloid media, international tabloid media now, and Megan Sussex. These two women are destiny overlapped. And this week, I'll quickly give you guys a brief overture of my thoughts. Yeah, this week, following the trial, a couple of things came out. Now, why am I following the Megan Thee Stallion case, and what has that got to do with Megan Sussex? It is the precedent it may set, and I hope it sets. You do not get to get a mic, come in front of a camera, and say what you like about people. You don't. You cannot call yourself somebody who is using the internet to launch yourself. You want to be a reliable commentator on pop culture, and you can't follow the rules. You are no different than a commentator. If you're not going to report the facts, whether the facts are to your taste or not, then I don't think then I don't think you should, then media is not for you because media, there are rules of engagement. Hi, Alphas. There are rules of engagement. You don't get to do what you like or say what you like. And the Megan Thee Stallion case from this week, if I had to summarize, because I've been reading it up, guys, if I had to summarize the key bullet points that I think we would be interested in as Sussex fans is, it's the judge has already stated at the beginning of the trial that the lady she is suing, Milagro, is not a media person. And media person is not somebody who has a YouTube channel. A media person, according to law, is somebody who gives neutral, disinterested commentary on events. So if I start talking about the news in the UK, I'm not supposed to give my opinion. And I think a very good example, guys, is think of the newscasters. They sit down and they speak the facts. You don't see on their face whether the news is interesting to them or not, whether they support the news or not. They are just telling you the news as is. So if you want to understand what makes a media person, that is a media person. Why? Because of the responsibility of information. Because human beings innately relate to other human beings, right? If I'm There's a reason why YouTube became a thing. People wanted to hear from other people, right? So to an extent, there is a kind of like relationship of trust because you can see my face, because you can sort of look into my eyes. You will take what I'm saying seriously. Hopefully that makes sense. Thanks, Faisal. And thank you for being here. Yes, shout out to Sudan. And that's my point. Somebody conveying information to you with their face, their eyes, human beings will. That's why when you have video calls or you have Zoom calls, when you have Zoom calls, they always say, put your camera on, let's look at your face. Because for a lot of people, this is how they connect with you and your words, right? So you get a camera, you stand in front of it, and you start talking, and somebody somewhere will be engaging with you. Oh, okay. They may not, there's something about you they might like, the way you talk, your cadence, the way you look. They want to hear from you. So if you want the responsibility that comes with being in front of the camera and talking to people, and you want to be seen as a media personality, you have a responsibility. Hey, Joy, how are you? I didn't think you'd make it or anybody would be here. So thank you for coming here. I hope you're having a good Thanksgiving. I hope you're having a great Thanksgiving. Shout out to you. Like I said, for the Americans, happy Thanksgiving to you. I hope you're having a good, restful day with family and friends. And yeah, so I was talking about, like, the responsibility of what we do as content creators, whether you are on a big level or you're tiny like me, that we have a responsibility with our words, with the things that we say. Because even if three people are listening to me, those people, for whatever reason, have chosen to engage with me. So they deserve my honesty and they deserve my consideration. So yeah, I was talking about the legal definition of a media person as it pertains to the Megan versus Milagro trial. And the definition, one of them was the person has to be disinterested, neutral. You are just reporting the news. A very good example is a newscaster. The second thing is you are not using your platform to sell your goods and services. Like you said, you are reporting the news. A newscaster is a very good example, or people you see on news channels are very good examples of media persons. You are not collecting compensation to report. Basically, what they mean is you try to be as unbiased as possible, so somebody can't just slip you $100 and you start saying what people want to hear. Your integrity is high and above board. And when we think of somebody like Milagro is not a media person by those definitions. Milagro, I personally believed, knows that Megan got shot. She knows that Megan got shot by Tory. But she's been pushing the agenda that Megan lied for years because she has a personal relationship with Tory's family. And this is probably a very good segue for those of you who may not have been following Megan's trial. I have. Here is my opinion. A lot of people online are saying that the legal counsel behind the trial for Megan are not doing a good, or we're not doing a good job. I disagree. So let's talk about defamation, and I want us to apply what I am about to say to Megan Sussex as well. When you are somebody as as hyper visible as Megan the Stallion and Megan Sussex, it is almost expected that you will have people who don't like you. People who don't like you, who don't understand why you are popular, people who may even go out of their way to discredit you, to hate on you, to hate on your appearance, hate on whatever it is you're putting out there for Megan Thee Stallion, her music, for Megan Sussex, as ever. Don't forget that it was just a few days ago they accused her of being a thief. So when when it comes to defamation and you are that hyper visible and you are wealthy, it is a very difficult thing to prove in a court of law, especially in America, a country that is very aggressively pro people individuality and freedom of speech and expression. We can talk about the hypocrisy of fighting for this while also being a theocratic state, but that's not what we're here for. According to the superficialness of American culture, free speech is its cornerstone of democracy. So if Megan Thee Stallion or Megan Sussex got a good lawyer, brought them to court and said, I want to sue content creator or media person Fridge because content creator or media person Fridge said, "Da-da-da-da-da-da-da." Hi, Kevin. Kevin, oh my goodness. Hello. It's been a minute. I hope you're well. Happy Thanksgiving. Yes, it is a shame. I love how Megan and her team. Do you guys remember when Megan used to take food they wouldn't eat on set and give it away to people, to the homeless, people less needy? Hopefully, you guys are able to do that. And we can touch on very briefly on how doing good is also a sign of privilege because a lot of people do not have the capacity. They know that they waste things, but they don't have the capacity to take a step back and think of how to not waste. But we can get to that later. So, yeah, I was talking about the burden, how difficult it is in a law court to prove defamation when you are hyper visible in a country like America that values individuality and free speech on paper. Now, in the Megan Thee Stallion case, Megan's lawyers kept on, it felt like they were relitigating the Tory Lanez case. But I think the reason they were doing that is because they understand that just showing a video of videos even of Milagros saying the most egregious, terrible things about Megan, calling her the B word, saying she's a whore, saying she's an alcoholic, insulting her family, it will piss people off. It might even annoy them and they might feel a lot of empathy for Megan, but it is not enough. Because Milagros people can argue that, okay, fine, because of her rough upbringing and her inarticulate way of speaking, she doesn't know how to be civil. So they Milagros team, I think, were trying to turn it into a class thing. That, oh, Megan has all this money and she's coming after this borderline illiterate, coarse, nasty blogger who doesn't have nearly as much money as she does because her feelings got hurt. And applying that to Megan Sussex, you can understand why litigating these people can be quite hard. Because yes, in court, a decent lawyer can argue that Megan is a millionaire. Yeah, okay, fine, the words were nasty, the things that were said were terrible, but I mean, this blogger has the right to express themselves, right? You need to tie defamation to an actual crime before the jury can begin to understand why the attacks are happening. If we apply that to Megan Thee Stallion, let's think about it this way. Milagro goes on terrible rants against Megan Thee Stallion. But why? What is her motivation for doing that? It is not just because she doesn't like her. Why doesn't she like her? Because Milagro is friends with Tory Lanez, the assailant that shot Megan. Again, that's not enough. Okay, fine. Well, if she's friends with Tory Lanez, that explains why she will be annoyed with her. Because in her mind, because of Megan pointing part of the sorry, Megan pointing out Tory Lanez for shooting her was not the reason Tory Lanez got convicted because the DNA was inconclusive on the gun, but it did not help. So the jury could say, well, I mean, yeah, if he's her friend, of course she would be annoyed, but that's not enough. Megan's lawyers had to also add that Milagro is friends with Tory, and there is evidence of Tory and his family giving Milagro financial benefit. And Milagro also giving money to Tory Lanez, which is insane, by the way. So you see what they are doing? They are establishing that relationship between the assailant and this blogger, and they're taking it a further step. Milagro went on her rant because she said that Megan lied on the stand. That's perjury. Perjury is a felony. So let's bring it all together. We start with the actual crime that was committed. With the actual defamation. The defamation is Milagro called Megan a liar on the stand, which means that she is saying that Megan committed perjury. And because she believes that Megan committed perjury, she continues. Sorry, I've missed my thoughts a second. Give me a minute. Because she's pushing the theory that Megan committed perjury, she is doing it at the behest of Tory Lanez and his family. And that is why money is exchanging hands. That's why they are so close to each other. That's why Milagro deleted 20,000 texts. If you know what I mean, hopefully you're getting my point. We're painting a timeline here. And this is why I don't have a problem with how Megan's lawyers are presenting it in court. Because they have to establish what was the actual defamation. The defamation was saying that Megan committed perjury with no evidence, nothing. Why would she say a thing like that? Because she has a relationship with Tory Lanez and his family. Okay, she has a relationship with them. And yeah, well, they pay her money to push that narrative. And then they bring up the payments. And you're like, oh, okay. Now you have a case. Now, if Milagro on her lonesome was going after Megan and accusing her of perjury, then Megan's people will have to prove that Milagro was doing it out of pure malicious intent. And I'm happy to be corrected here. Unless we can open Milagro's brain and evaluate it, that's impossible to prove. Let's give it 500% because how are you going to prove it? What you can do is, like I said, show the motivation. And the motivation is the financial incentive and the personal relationship. And I'm hoping, because I firmly believe that if this case goes well, Megan will bring a lawsuit against academics, DJ Academics and Aiden Ross. And I'm hoping that by deposing them, what they are looking for is the motivation, really. So if we apply that to Megan Sussex, if Megan Sussex took Megan Thee Stallion's case and used it as a precedent, let's say she went after Popcorn Planet, right? To me, Popcorn Planet has, as we know, for years, up until this moment, been saying some very terrible things about Megan Sussex. However, I don't think he has necessarily committed a crime. Does that make sense? If they are able to catch him accusing Megan of something defamatory, like saying she stole clothes, with no evidence, no confirmation, Meghan can sue. Like Meghan now, after they accused her of being a thief, her spokesperson spoke out. If page 6, Daily Mail, continue to push this story after her spokesperson has spoken out, according to US media law, she can send them a cease and desist. If they ignore that cease and desist and push this story again, defamation. That's how they get you. Milagro, a baby commentator who thought she was fighting the righteous fight like a pick-me bitch would, didn't realize that and fell right into that trap. Because notice how Milagro and other people have been pushing lies about Meghan, but she started with Milagro. The other thing that Milagro did that I think was exceptionally stupid, and this is why the lawyers can argue that Milagro has a weird, obsessive, malicious obsession with Meghan. When Milagro shared the sex tape, according to some state laws, if you intentionally share obscene material without the person featured in its consent, especially if it is known to be fake, that is a crime. That is a true blue crime. And that is why I believe Meghan finally had what was needed to bring this case against Milagro Grams. And this is why I'm fairly confident that Milagro is going to be charged. I don't know if all three, because again, I was not in the trial, so I don't know. But I hope that the lawyers were able to tell the story like so. The defamation issue is Meghan got shot. Milagro is accusing her of committing perjury, a crime, which is defamatory. Milagro is not a media correspondent, she's a commentator. So there's absolutely no reason why Meghan had to send her a cease and desist. So you've already been defaming her and using that as defaming her. And they have evidence that money exchanged hands. So the story is you've been defaming her on behalf of Tory Lanez, which is revenge. There's the Milagro thing. Then, of course, your fixation made you careless and irresponsible. So you share the first version of a fake AI sex tape without verifying whether it was true or not, without checking what the laws in your state say about doing things like that. And even if you were to report from a journalistic perspective, why did you have to share the tape? Why couldn't you just say, guys, what the hell? I've just seen a tarara smex tape. You will not believe this. But she wanted to hurt Meghan. And that's why her stupid ass fell into this trap. And now she's in court. Me personally, I think Milagro is going to get charged. I believe that she's going to be... I don't know if the lawyer was able... I hope he was able to convince them about defamation. But what I'm hoping comes out of this is a warning to content creators, from the Popcorn Planet to the Kinsey Schofield. Precedents are being set where famous people are able to take legal action against so-called small or medium-sized content creators who fixate on people. Because let's keep it 500%, the Meghan Sussex haters fixate on her. It's not as if they are reporting pop culture news. They are focused on Meghan Sussex. Every day, one brand new story. Whether it is true, whether it's BS, whether it is nonsense they've written with ChatGPT, it doesn't matter. What's his name? That fat Malfoy went around telling everybody that Meghan, when he bought Meghan's candle, there was no wick. Right? He was very happy to promote the story, the defamatory story about Meghan stealing clothes. Even though Meghan's team came out to say she didn't do it. It is my hope, guys, that the precedent Meghan's case, Meghan the Stallion's case, is going to put everybody on notice. Some people will say, well, okay, fine. How about free speech, free speech, free speech? Nobody is imposing on your speech. But you have to understand that if you say something, there will be consequences. You receiving consequences for your words is the very example of free speech. You can say what you like, but the other person responding to you can also take action based on that. So we're all free, if that makes sense. Look at that honey. Guys, I am obsessed with Meghan's honey. Oh my God. Hi, Mohammed. So yeah, the jury have gone to deliberate. I think somebody had to leave at 4 p.m. So they couldn't, but I really think if the person didn't have to leave, they may have come to a verdict yesterday, But in a way, I'm kind of glad. Some people were saying that the reason they didn't come to a verdict is because they are not going to charge Milagro. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. If they were not going to charge Milagro, they would have just said, they would have given the verdict quickly. Nah. I mean, yeah, what she said was trash, but should we charge her? Is it worth it? I believe the reason they are taking their time is they want to, and it's true. I would prefer they take the time. Listen to the evidence. Look at all the payments. If you want to watch that horrible sex tape, and imagine this was your child, your daughter, yourself. Someone took your face, put it on a sex tape, and distributed it. It will ruin your life. Even though you know it's not you. Can you imagine strangers seeing you naked in a sexual way against your will? You're not a porn star. You're not on OnlyFans. No one deserves to be degraded and humiliated that way. No one. No one deserves that. And that is what I think Meghan's lawyers were trying to say, that free speech is free speech is free speech. You can be a non-traditional media person, fine. But the same standards everybody is held to, for the fact that you have a platform, you need to be held to those same standards. Because think about it, guys. What is the alternative? Milagro is not guilty. Think of the precedent it sets. We all have a blank check to do what we like online then. Because if somebody else gets sued, they will bring this case forward and say, well, I mean, the jury said no, right? So yeah, I believe at the very least, Milagro will get charged for that sex tape. I hope she gets charged for that sex tape thing. I hope so. Because when I remember, when the video came out, Meghan Thee Stallion was crying. Because it's such an evil thing to do to someone. You insult her every day, insult her every single day. You don't believe this terrible assault that happened to her happened, and you create an atmosphere where people can. Because if you think about it, guys, let's put Meghan Thee Stallion and Megan Sussex. These are two women that are being bullied every single day. Every single day, guys. Just this week, they accused Megan Sussex of being a thief. I have seen AI images that insinuate that Megan is about to give somebody a blowjob on X. I have seen people call Megan Sussex a yacht girl, call her a prostitute, call her a whore. And thanks to AI, they can take her image and make videos and say it's true. See her whore. Apply that to Megan Thee Stallion. These women will have, because Megan is lucky, Megan Sussex has Harry. Megan Thee Stallion is still a very young woman. I'm so happy she's found Clay. But things like this probably made it very hard for her to find relationships. Because imagine Megan, as beautiful as she is, and that is a beautiful woman, intelligent, a businesswoman, with everything she brings to the table, a lot of men look down on her. Why? Not because she's a rapper, not because she dances, not because she's sexy. No, because this culture of bullying and calling her a liar made a lot of people very bold. And this is something we content creators have to weigh in on our conscience. Because this commentary we give, people are listening to us. And you don't know who's listening to you. You don't know the state of mind they are in. Yeah, sometimes whenever Megan Sussex pops out, I see messages like, oh, I wish she would just go away. Oh, I hate this woman. Why is she here? Why is she here? That is hostile. It means you want her dead. You want her gone. I want her gone. I've seen a woman break down and cry on TikTok. I think I posted it here. Because Megan was at the Balenciaga show. She was close to tears, saying that Megan is contrived. How? And even if you believe she was, why are you close to tears, weirdo? That is not somebody that is normal. Over a woman you don't know, you can't keep scrolling. There are people that I come across that piss me off. I ignore them. I block them. But the fact that you had to go out of your way to make consistent content bashing this person you hate, apparently, you are activating not only yourself, but somebody else who may have even worse mental illness problems to go and plan to do something to Megan. Why do you want her dead so much? Because that is ultimately what this is. You want somebody to die. Why? Over a man who was never going to marry you? A life you were never going to live? It's weird, right? And I believe that the internet has powered something in this is not the behavior of normal people. I don't think. It's because many of us spend so much time online, we never, quote unquote, go outside to touch grass. So you hyperfixate. You don't have anything going on in your real life. So you hyperfixate. So yeah. Megan Thee Stallion's case is going to set a very good precedent, I hope. And I'm hoping that precedent, Megan Sussex takes advantage of it. Because all I need Megan Sussex to do is sue someone. I don't even care if it's just one person. Somebody has to go to court. Lose money. Get dragged to the media. Be exposed as the psychopath that they are. I'm not saying it will stop anything. But at the very least, if you're going to bash Megan, you are not, it's hopefully going to stop you from making up stuff. Because there are now legal requirements. Exactly, Elfaz. Those of you that have stuck with me, thank you. I didn't want to. I didn't want to rehash the whole story again, and hopefully I didn't. That's why I focused on the case and why I really wanted to go through. Exactly, Elfaz. Like Candace Owens. Candace Owens is probably the most vocal black woman in the world right now. And don't you think, guys, it's very funny that black women or black men only attain notoriety the way Candace Owens did when they are self-hating, when they are ready to bash blackness and to dismiss blackness. They will get every fan because people honestly forget that's a black woman. You have Nazis, people that hate people like Candace, who are cheering her on. It's insane because she hates herself and she plays into that narrative. So of course they love her. When she was going after the Macrons, I never watched that video, by the way, because even I knew that was nonsense. I will admit something though, don't hate me. I thought her coverage of the Blake Lively case was fantastic. I'm sorry. Between January and I think June. Wait. Yeah, it was her. And I really, and again, guys, like they say, a broken clock rings twice a day. Rings correctly twice a day or once in a while. I really believe that her platforming that story gave it a lot of traction. I mean, it's already had a lot of traction, but I think that completely catapulted it to international news. And I think as a result of doing it that way, it actually has saved Justin Baldoni. So for that one thing that she did, I'll give her her tens. And by she, I'm referring to Candace Owens. Everything else is ridiculous. That whole when she started her Macron series, I said, okay, that's enough right wing for me, and I dipped. Because at that point, I think we can all agree that there's something wrong with Candace. At that point, I was like, okay, Candace, your madness is clearly coming through. I'm going to leave this one for you. But yeah, like that. You don't get to say that a woman was born a man and became a woman if that is not true. It's unfair. It's cruel. Not that there's look. Let me be clear. I am not going after people who are trans. I'm referring to what, because Candace isn't reporting this news as a way to bring some sort of, education to the struggles of trans people. We know the world we live in. We know the misogyny of the world we live in and the sexism of the world we live in. And the funny thing is, there are many things to go after Macron's wife for. The age gap between her and him is weird. It's weird. And she could have gone on and on and on about that. But I'm guessing that Candace wanted to be famous. So she wanted to shock everyone. And that's why she pursued that story. Now she's telling everybody that that they're planning her assassination. I will say, Candace, if they're planning to kill you, you kind of brought this to yourself. I'm so sorry. You should have let this Macron thing go. Because she became very popular after Blake Lively. I will never understand why she thought the Macron thing was the right place to go. But let's see how it goes. Personally, I don't believe anybody is trying to kill her. I think she's doing all of this because she's trying to get the US government to intervene with Macron, and so that he doesn't take her to court. That's what I believe this is all about, because she knows financially she won't survive it. So she's trying to bully and put Trump in a very difficult and embarrassing position, or she's trying to get Macron to call off his dogs by humiliating him. It's clever because her right-wing friends my right-wing friends are very happily pushing the conspiracy theory that, oh my God, yes, it's true. And here is the painful thing about it. Because the internet is full of so many shenanigans and characters and clowns, you don't even know when something is real or not. I don't believe that there's any conspiracy theory to kill her. But I'm not saying that it can't happen. But because look at the people that are supporting her, these are not people that I would trust for credible information. So it's hard for me to believe it. And she kind of brought it on herself. But yeah, it comes back to my point about internet responsibility, having this platform and being careful. People like internet commentators because they think, oh, they are talking to me in a way mainstream media can't. Yeah, mainstream media, MSNBC can't do that. CNN can't do that. Why? Because they will get sued. Fox News used to do something. I think they still do it now. When they were going around with Trump saying that a company intentionally miscounted the wins for Trump, they kept pushing that conspiracy theory. Fox News got slapped with a defamation suit and ended up paying almost $700 million. How many entities can survive a $700 million hit? I'm surprised they are still there, actually. So no, mainstream media do not have the luxury to spread nonsense online for engagement. And God knows they need the ratings. But I think a lot of critical thinking human beings know online commentating, if I want to hear nonsense, even though it may be true, MSNBC, CNN, if I want actual news to some extent, because I know that they have to report to some extent the truth at the risk of a lawsuit, if nothing else. Because trust me, if there was no lawsuit, you think Fox News don't want ratings jumps, you think MSNBC don't want the same thing, they will be pushing out conspiracy theories every day if it gives them ratings. So no, I'm glad that in the world of chaos, when I see news online and it's stupid, I can at least go to CNN and check. Wait, are they reporting it? Sometimes are they late? But you know what? I would rather be late than retweet nonsense. But then again, I'm a millennial. I'm grown. I know I grew up with the internet. I remember a time when we didn't have the internet, guys, when we had to wait for CNN or BBC or the rest. Yes, things were painfully slow and behind, and we couldn't verify certain things. But maybe that's why many of us are still quite media savvy. We know when we know when to side eye some information and when not to. So yeah, that's the precedent I hope it sets. I hope it sets standards. I don't know. Let's see. But I think whatever happens, Megan the Stallion is very brave. It's not easy bringing yourself out like that. Because during the trial, she was reading her therapist notes. Do you know she had to show the jury the sex tape? Do you know how disgusting and embarrassing that is? And she was crying. She was like, I know it's not me, but it's embarrassing you having to see that. And my heart broke a bit. The things that we do online have real world consequences. These are human beings. I will never understand the how easy it is to dehumanize people for money. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can dehumanize somebody so much that I bash them so regularly and I lie about them just for engagement. Something has to be fundamentally wrong with me, I think. And that's why I say it. Like anybody who knows me knows that I don't like Kate Middleton. For anything, you can't go, mm-mm. But the likelihood of me making daily attacks against Kate, Even if I had money to make, I don't think I can do it. I can't do it. I'll find something else to do because I don't want that daily weight on my conscience. These things, to me, they weigh on you, right? Being angry all the time, being hateful all the time, it weighs on you. It's not good for your mental health. It's not good for your emotional, physical, or I don't even think it's good for your karma. It's dangerous. And yeah, so we've spoken about the trial, my hopes and my dreams. I hope my dreams are reality. I hope it goes well for Megan, and well, after the verdict comes out, we can have a conversation about it and what I'm hoping comes next, whichever way it goes. Yeah, so let's talk about something a bit more joyful because it's Thanksgiving. Megan, guys, Megan Sussex. I was very happily surprised when I saw that her goods are now being sold in Soho House, LA. I know a lot of people are going to roll their eyes, but she is building a luxury brand. Where do you guys think she will sell next? So her goods have been featured at Godmothers, now Soho House. Now I hope people are understanding why Megan needs to be friends with the Kardashians, why she needs to be friends with the Oprahs, why she needs to be friends with the Bezos, because these people know people who know people that can help her. Why she needs to be friends with the Harper's Bazaar chief editor. Why she needs to be friends, even though I don't like her, with the Vogue lady. What's that her name? I forget her name. Because these people could help her promote not just herself, her goods. Because people assign as ever to Megan. And you know what I love about Megan? She understands that you strike while the fire is hot. This year has been phenomenal. I don't even think, I told you guys, her business started in April. This is November. She sold out 3 times, at least. Yeah, 3 times. She has expanded her products and increased her SKU in a way that is almost impossible to achieve in less than a year. And she's not stopping her momentum. She's getting featured on magazines. She's doing more pop-up shops. She's traveling. And I'm hoping that she goes more national. The sky is the limit. She started with Godmothers near her. Now she's in Soho House. I wonder where she goes next. I keep saying that I hope that she gets some sort of hotel chain. Is that weird? Yeah. I want her to have like a steady customer that will be buying things on consignment from her. I don't know. We all know that eventually it's going to go to a big retailer. I'm just not sure which one. I'm not sure which one. Because she wants luxury, right? Maybe Walmart. No, sorry. I heard that Walmart is not luxury in America. Please let me know in the chat if that's true or not. Elfaz might be onto something. I read somebody saying that how amazing would it be if she gives her goods to Soho House and it gets to London? That would be great, actually, because it means that I can buy it. But in my personal opinion, and I'm happy to be corrected, I don't think she's ready to scale up that yet. I think she will first try international shipping. It's kind of like when Beyonce had her hair brand, right? She first started international shipping. Then she started selling her goods at Ulta. So I think the reason why she's doing pop-ups right now is I don't think she's ready for that big one yet. Are they building up to it? Sure, but not yet. So she's doing mini pop-ups again to keep the interest going. It's smart. It's good from a marketing perspective. And you know what I love about her, guys? It feels what she's doing feels very organic. So she's not like. Do you guys remember when Blake Lively, that horrible woman, released her hair care? And she ran to get a Target contract. And everybody started trashing, saying that her hair care was trash. I believe that type of growth is also why it flopped. Does that make sense? Because let's talk about Beyonce and Sacred, which I use and I love, by the way. If Beyonce had, I believe that a lot of people nowadays don't trust celebrities. Celeb culture is dead. Celeb culture that we used to know no longer exists. So the clever thing to do, I feel, is to try and make your stuff a bit more accessible. Beyonce first started selling her product from her own website, where they did both international and national shipping. But I think it was like 18 months or so before they finally got the Ulta arrangement. And even then, I'll be honest, I think the success of the hair drops is probably what escalated that. Because Beyonce's business is a startup. I think they were hoping to keep it medium size. But then when the hair drops started to explode, they had to make these deals because then they would need more money to boost up the supply chain to hit demand. Because I think she said she made what, 100 million alone just from selling those hair drops. That's crazy. And the products are very good. I use it for my hair. I really believe it helps my hair grow. Although I will say, and this is for black women, black hair grows if you put water in it. That's the magical trick. Black hair will grow. The problem is that many people don't wet their hair. I don't know, because they're too busy wearing weaves and wigs. Wet your hair at least every day. Your hair will grow. You know, I didn't say wash. I said wet. Our hair is like a garden. It needs water. Consistent moisturizer. And moisturizing doesn't have to be packing oil in your hair. Just clean water. The hair will grow. Our ancestors were using it. So why do you need any sexy? And I believe with the Sacred hair drops, because if you've used it, it's water based. I think that's the trick. It's literally just water. Obviously, there are probably other ingredients, but I believe because it's water based, because I use it here, and you can see, I don't know if you get, well, for me anyway, I can see some definition. In fact, I started seeing hair down here, something I've never had before, because when I pour the drops, it goes down here, and I started seeing hair here. So this is my tip of the day. Black women, pour water in your hair regularly. I don't use heat in my hair. I just let the hair dry naturally. And yeah, So for Megan, I like that because it feels very relatable. She has a business, a small business. I mean, obviously, she's not the average person, but she's not like it's not unattainable. It's not like unobtainable either. Megan is able to do all the things she does because she has a lot of powerful friends. She has the CEO of Netflix on her side. She has his wife. She has Oprah, Tyler Perry, and other people that we don't know about that are very wealthy and very well connected. Because Megan's a girl's girl, she's made friends with a lot of very wealthy business women in Montecito. I mean, it's brilliant. That is exactly how you do it. That is exactly how you build wealth. And I love that she did the podcast because it then, and I encourage people to go and listen to it again because I love that she spoke to different women from different works of life who started off their businesses in different ways. I loved it because then it gives you this idea of, oh, okay, I don't have any money. Okay, maybe I can bootstrap. Oh, I need some cash. Maybe I can network. If you know what I mean. My point is, her business to me is growing organically, and that's amazing. The sky is in the limit for you, Meg. So now it's in Soho House. To Elfas's point, it might be Soho House all over the world. Let's hope that for Megan. I think she's doing tiny pop-ups now because that's probably where her supply chain is, and that's okay. Like I said, she's achieved probably way more this year than she thought she was ever going to. So she's probably very chuffed about it and she's keeping the momentum going. We're going to do a live watch of the Christmas special. I'm going to create a Discord. I haven't created a Discord before. I'm going to share it. Come and join me because it means that we can talk to each other. We can watch it without having YouTube on our ass. And I'll do a recap here as well. So I look forward. It's next, guys. December is next week. How crazy is this? Can you imagine? We are already in December, guys. Wow. And I've met you people. This last December, I didn't know anybody here. And in a year, in just about under a year, I've met you wonderful people in the squad. And those who are not in the squad, hello. You guys have made my life very rich, and I'm grateful to every one of you. And I want to appreciate Megan too for bringing us all together. I'm in the UK, I'm Nigerian. Some of you are from the Caribbean, some of you are white. But something about this woman has brought so many different people together to come together because we saw somebody who was being destroyed for no reason. And we felt a sense of justice, of injustice. And we were like, no, we're not going to be quiet anymore. And I love that for us. I love that in our own tiny way, whether you have a platform like I do, a very tiny platform like I do, or you are just commenting, or you are just retweeting, or you are just reposting, or you are just promoting, all of us together are helping. And I think that's it, right? Because Sussex Squad, you guys are beasts. You guys are soldiers. And because we are all over the world, when the GMT zero crew goes to bed, the GMT plus 5 in America, you guys are so it's like a 24-hour support group. When the Rangers start their nonsense, there's a squaddy somewhere hitting back. Of course. So I want to appreciate all of you because all of you inspire me to keep on going, to keep pushing. And yeah, I'm sure and I love that we all have this shared view of wanting her to win. Because in a way, I feel like it's a big, is this selfless act for a stranger. And I know deep down inside, wherever she is, she appreciates us, all of us. So yeah, we've come together through Megan. With love, Megan. With our love for Megan. Yeah. Is there anything else I want to touch on now? It's just the Sussexes because I know some things happened with Kate Middleton this week, but I really don't care. So I saw her face for like 5 seconds, and I was like, ugh. After her mumbling speech and that stupid autumn video, I really don't want to be hearing from that woman. So, and this is the thing, guys. Apparently, there's some sort of, I don't know why Kate and her crew decided to set up a visit of some sort today, of all days, Thanksgiving, because they want that American audience. The people they're supposed to be serving in the UK, they really couldn't care less about. Billy Idol wants that. Oh yes, I remember now. I only remember 5 seconds of the deeply humiliating reporting that Prince Charles was going to be in America if he's still alive next year for America's 250 celebration of their liberation from the British monarchy. This guy is a clown. So Billy Idol and Skeletor, because they wanted to steal some of the king's shine, because Trump invited the king, Kensington Palace released a note that they're going to be there too. And I was like, you couldn't let your dad have this. Just let him have this. That man will soon die. I'm not saying that Billy Idol and Skeletor can't go, but like, I feel like anything for Charles now, they have to, it's like a child. You have to, attach it, otherwise he'll throw a tantrum. Anyway, that was what I wanted to say. That's all the brain power I'm willing to give them, useless people. And yeah, thank you for joining me. I know you guys are still having Thanksgiving until afternoon, but I'm going to take a break now and chill for a bit. Maybe go to bed. I'll see you around. Take care.